Cloudmaker was in start-stop traffic on the A6 in Hazy Grove, when he spotted these two cars driving down the wrong side of the road in order to turn right. But then the taxi decided to follow suit, but by this time, there was oncoming traffic heading straight towards them.
What the hell are you doing, taxi?
It even turned out that the taxi didn't want to turn right, was actually trying to jump the queue. That was really worth it. Alex was driving down the road in his lorry when he noticed a van who was in completely the wrong lane. The Mercedes SUV changed lanes and then decided to let the van go, much to the annoyance of the BMW behind, who missed the light but proceeded to go for the red light anyway. Ducky came across his Focus, which was doing laps of the roundabout with no indicator, meaning that no one had any idea where they were going. To be honest, neither did the Focus driver. I was coming back from the pub with my family when this Audi driver decided to chance their luck on the roundabout. Good job I wasn't going any faster. McCoof spotted in his mirror a van driver who was in completely the wrong lane. Luckily there was no one behind him, otherwise it could have ended badly.
Look. Ow.
I was driving back from work on the A303 when I saw this partridge, which got incredibly lucky. It wasn't until I got home and looked at the rear footage I saw that it actually had survived. Alex was in his lorry when this Focus decided to squeeze in front of him in order to turn left. Thankfully they backed out and instead went through the red light to turn left. Not sure that was much better really. Robin was behind this BMW, who couldn't decide which lane they wanted. Of course they weren't indicating to tell him.
Are you here? Are you over there? What are you doing? No indicator on?
No idea.
What are you doing? Where are you going? That way, right, okay. A left indicator would have solved that problem. Oh well, lesson.
Moments later, Robin also discovered that they don't look in their mirrors.
Whoa.
And had to brake and beep to avoid hitting them.
Was that the same person that didn't know where they were going?
Yes.
What a cabbage!
Alex was travelling down the motorway on his lorry behind this Kia SUV, who suddenly then decided they wanted to exit, so they braked suddenly, nearly causing Alex to rear-end them. Wisely they then changed their mind, but they still wanted to exit, so they ended up finding a better gap to go into. WP watched the SUV ahead of him go straight for a solid red light. I was in Cobham driving down a one-way street when I met this salmon cyclist. The cyclist just went up on the narrow pavement and came back off when I'd passed, and carried on their merry way. Ducky was about to exit the roundabout when the car he'd been following then decided that they wanted to exit too, and in the same lane that he was in, so Ducky then had to brake to avoid the accident. I was driving on the A303 at about 4:30 AM in the morning, going to work, when this car entered the dual carriageway without any lights on. If you are enjoying this video, please give it a like as it helps to spread it to more people. Thank you. A little later on, the van in lane 2 tried to get their attention by flashing their headlights and then their orange lights, but had no success. Nakoof was entering a roundabout in Sheffield when a horse pox took his lane. He thought they just got confused, but it turned out they wanted the same lane as him, as they were going in the same direction.
Someone stick to their lanes.
WP was turning right at a mini roundabout when he forgot to turn his invisibility cloak off, resulting in the van not giving way to him. I was heading into Crewe Kern when this oncoming lorry decided they needed both sides of the road, making it very tight to pass them. Ducky encountered this lorry which should run the red light and then block the roundabout. Understandably, Ducky wasn't that impressed. I was driving into Warminster when I came across this driver who got out of his lorry and just stood in the middle of the road all whilst on his phone. Would he have done this if he wasn't on his phone?
Don't worry about the traffic, will you?
WP was approaching his favourite mini roundabout. When he started to enter it, the taxi from his left, which was in such a rush, they failed to give way to him, and they cut the roundabout, making it even closer than it needed to be. I was waiting for the lights to change on the A3 M25 junction, when a van driver decided to run the red light. Pretty standard stuff at this junction. Ducky was about to drive through this intersection when a runner decided to cross in front of him. Ducky beeped and the runner took offence to that and wanted to fight him. Back at the A3 M25 junction, this Transit Connect decided that they're far too important to wait, so uses the left-hand lane to turn right, or take the third exit, same thing. But they aren't finished yet. They then decide that they need to change lanes again, this time over the chevrons and in front of a Honda Insight. Was that really all worth it? Ned Coof encounters this Volvo driver who does go around the mini roundabout just the wrong way. I'm in Warminster's High Street, waiting for the lights to change when this Focus decides that red lights aren't for them.
Was a red light, my friend?
WP is approaching a mini roundabout with his invisibility cloak on again. Or either that, the Range Rover heard his passenger.
Go. Oh, no.
Whilst waiting in a car park, the dashcam captures these two cars who couldn't find the entrance and decide to go through the exit instead. This car park only has two roads, one in and one out. I encountered some great parking by an Asda delivery van who decides to park on the pavement next to a crossing. Brilliant.
Great place to park. Can't see if anyone around the crossing.
Paul spots the taxi ahead of him who's in far too much of a rush to stop for an amber/red light. I'm driving back on the 303 coming back from a long day's work when I get stuck in queuing traffic. 30 minutes later I come across the reason why. A lorry has had a puncture. If you enjoyed this video, please click here to watch my best of 2022 video, which is filled with numpties.